Everybody, and welcome to today's Tip Tuesday, which is going to be how to use a stale opportunity trigger within workflows to move your clients through pipelines. So we're going to start in settings and pipelines. You can see we already have one in here. You can always create a new one by hitting create new pipeline. You can see here that this is just a basic sales pipeline. All of you would have this in your account, where there's people you want to work with called suspects, new leads, appointment booked, appointment held, nurture, won, lost, abandoned, appointment canceled, and appointment no-showed. So you have all of these things. You can move people through them by saying, okay, if they book an appointment, move them to the appointment book stage. If I tag them that they canceled, or the appointment gets updated as canceled, they can move to canceled. If I tag them that they didn't show up, it can move them to the appointment no-showed. If I tag them as a client, it could go to one. All these different options to move people through your own pipelines. One of which could be a stale opportunity. So the stale opportunity is saying that if someone sits in one of these stages for a set duration of time, in days, you can do stuff off of that. So let's say that I add a stage here called form completed, and I'm going to move it up to after I won them. So when I win the sale, I need to have them submit a form for me, and one of the stages is now form completed, so when they sign up, I know that they're being treated. This could also be part of a new client onboarding pipeline as well. I just blanked. A new client onboarding pipeline. That's more likely where that form would end up, but for example's sake, I'm just going to throw it in here. So if in workflows, I start a new one for my pipeline here, I'm going to start from scratch. Let's say that if they sit, I'm also going to name this, so stale off-road. So stale opportunities, can't spell. We're going to start with a new trigger, and it's going to be stale opportunities. So this is saying when they sit in somewhere for however long. Okay, how do we tell it how long? Well, we're going to add some filters here that say in pipeline. So this is going to be our sales pipeline. And then pipeline stage. It could be the pipeline in general. If it's a short pipeline, it's like, okay, if they're sitting in this pipeline for too long at all, you could do stuff off of that. Or you can add pipeline stage, which will specify if they're sitting in a specific stage too long. So in this case, it was going to be 1. Why is it 1 and not form completed? Is because we're trying to get them to move to that form completed spot from being 1. So if they sit in this 1 stage, and then we're going to add another filter. There's a couple different things that you can use, but most importantly, it'll be duration in days. And let's say that we're going to wait 5 days. If after 5 days, they're still in this 1 spot because they haven't filled out that form for me, which will move them to that form completed stage, you could do a couple things. You could tag them that they're in this place still. You could set them to D&D, you could add them to another workflow, you could do a bunch of different things here, but I'm going to send a text message. And I'm going to say, hey you, looks like you haven't had a chance to fill out this form. Please do this as soon as possible, so we can get you onboarded. Right? So, hey, you haven't filled out the form yet. Here's a reminder. Please do this as soon as possible so we can get you started. So you can do things like this off of anything. You could send them an email, you could send them a text message, you could send them a voicemail. All of those actions that you have to use, you could do any of those. So depending on your process and what you want to have happen, this is just an example. You could even have wait steps that it'll wait a couple more days, send another text message, and then you could even have another workflow that says when they do fill out that form to remove them from this workflow if you have multiple text messages, so they don't get a bunch of text messages after they've filled it out. So that could be the workflow that say when that form is submitted, move them to the form completed stage, tag them that they completed it, remove them from this workflow, all sorts of things. So that's how you use stale opportunities. You can specify in pipelines and specific stages that if they sit in one of these stages for too long, you can trigger off of that and do whatever makes sense for your process. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to support@cultivatingsales.com via email or live chat from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. Thanks.